All good in the neighborhood. We keeping it moving. And we getting it done. What's going on? Happy Monday to you. Thank you for joining me live at lunch. You know the rules. We're going to keep it moving until about 12:50. We're going to give you plenty of times to finish your sandwich, wash your hands, and get back to work. Right? So we're just going to talk for a minute. A lot of stuff happening over the weekend. We had rookie camp. Everybody was going crazy about that. And then we had some more WNBA games, and that was pretty fun to watch, I must admit. I streamed my reaction to one game. Indiana versus Dallas. That was a good game. We got played on the Chicago game. They didn't broadcast that one, and I think that was a mistake by the WNBA, but it's preseason. Everybody's going to forget it in a couple of days anyways. So yeah, it was a good weekend, man, and everybody does the same thing. You notice the title to my to the thumbnail, who's moving the needle? Well, I tell you what, I will give props to the WNBA and Caitlin Clark in the draft and that whole hype machine that's going on right now, because they stood toe to toe with the draft, and the aftermath of it, and they even won a few rounds. But that's when you're talking about what's moving the needle. You know, you take out. I always like to take out the average fan. If you poll somebody from Philadelphia, they are Eagles fans, Sixers fans, Phillies fans, and then interspersed there's always Cowboys fans. There's probably a lot of New York fans down here. Obviously, when we saw what happened with the 76ers, we do have a lot of New York fans down here. But my point being, when I talk about moving the needle, let me give my definition. When I say move the needle, I'm talking about people, personalities, celebrities, however you want to call it, when they make people pay attention that don't normally pay attention. That's, to me, is moving the needle. If here's a good example. Let me go back a bit. Let me go back a lot. When I was in college, my godparents, we went to see MC Hammer. I believe it was in Columbus. Now, MC Hammer was out when I was, in college. That whole thing happened. Let's get it started and dancing. What's going on, fellas? What's going on, Jason Sink, Ewing 609? Hey. But the fact that my godparents went to a Hammer concert, that's moving the needle. When you get people that do things that they wouldn't normally do. I say Caitlin Clark is moving the needle because until I became aware of her last year when they lost to LSU in the national championship game, and then I started watching her when before I didn't watch her. Then I started watching the NCAA women's. You guys have heard me say that all year. I watched all of the women's game in college all last year. I did not watch any men's game. None. I saw highlights. I tuned in at the fourth quarter of a couple games. But when it comes to tuning in from start to finish, I only watch women's games, and I enjoyed it. South Carolina, obviously because of Dawn Staley. She's a Philly girl. Then, of course, Caitlin Clark with what happened in LSU. I was following that story because you had drama with Angel Reese and Flau'jae Johnson and Kateri Poole and Haley Van Lith. And it was just a lot of drama. And it was compelling stuff because you wanted to see what was going to happen. But I was watching. And because I was watching, to me, that's moving the needle. Because normally, I wouldn't give a damn about women's basketball. Same thing. Moving the needle. Look at what Taylor Swift did this year in the NFL. Taylor Swift was responsible for an uptick in over $300 million in merch because her boyfriend is named Travis Kelce. $300 million in revenue. Merch. From all the Swifties that didn't give a damn about football or care about professional football, but because Taylor Swift started going to games, they started paying attention. And if Taylor Swift never goes to another NFL game in her life, there will be a large contingency of those Swiftie fans who stay. I kind of like this. All of them don't have to stay. It's a win-win for the NFL. Whatever you get because you didn't have it before. That's what's going on with the WNBA right now. Everybody wants to, hating on Caitlin and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, ain't nobody hating. The people in charge, all of them are sitting back, smiling, and putting the money in their pocket. They can give a damn about what's going on and what people are saying on the internet. Because at the end of the day, all it is controversy. Slowly but surely, Caitlin Clark is turning into a polarizing figure. And what that means is whether you love her, whether you hate her, you are going to pay attention. Angel Reese is not far behind. Whether you love her or whether you hate her, you are going to pay attention. That's a win. What's going on, Cody K? That's a win in my book. And that let's be honest with you. In today's landscape of social media and stuff like that, that is what it's all coming down to. Why do you think, and I don't know if anybody's thinking about it, I do because of what I'm doing now. Why do you think NFL Network, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, why do you think all of them are making all of these changes? Did you see that Michael Irvin got fired from NFL Network? And they're making all of the changes and all of these, they're bringing in all of this new talent. Jason Kelce just got hired. That means somebody's got to go. They're bringing in the fresh talent. Why are they bringing in Jason Kelce? Well, because he's got the most popular podcast in the country right now. Anytime you got a podcast and you're up there going toe-to-toe with Joe Rogan, you're doing something. And you a sports podcast, they'd be crazy not to. They'd be crazy not to. And it's getting to the point where that stuff is becoming so lucrative. I mean, let's be honest. Travis Kelce playing football might be taking a pay cut with as much money that they're generating from that New Heights podcast. That's just the landscape, and everybody's getting into it. What's up, South Jersey D? Appreciate you, man. I will definitely do that. I appreciate the support, bro. So it's a lot of stuff, man. I really got into I watched the Seattle and LA Sparks game. That was a good game. And now here's a byproduct of we're gonna get into Tom Brady in a minute. Talking about moving the needle. Good grief. But here's a byproduct of all of this hype, the hype machine that is Caitlin Clark and Caleb Williams, and just the way the thing is going. Now, the one thing is everybody knows Caitlin Clark is the golden goose of the WNBA at the moment, right? So, of course, then I want to check out Cameron Brink. She plays for the LA Spark, Lakia Jackson. They played Seattle. So who do I see on Seattle? I see Skylar Diggins. Heard the name before, never paid attention. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't familiar with your game. So by watching one person, you get introduced to somebody else, and now, like, hey, Skylar Diggins, she's on my list. She's somebody I'm going to continue to watch in this year's WNBA season. And I'm going to create a list of people that I wasn't really aware of. And I'm going to continue to watch those people. Yes, I'm still going to buy the merch and support them like that. I'm going to get my season pass, pay my $40 and support them like that. That's all it takes. Skylar Diggins. Yeah, man. I was not aware of her game. Her and I don't know if she just had a good game, but that damn Jewel Lloyd was launching deep from three. But I will be actively watching Skylar Diggins. So that's one byproduct of that. Now I'm aware of somebody else that I didn't really pay attention to because Caitlin Clark. Obviously, I'm going to watch Cameron Brinks. I'm watching all of the rookies that came into the league this year. You know, and I want to see everybody succeed because I do want to see. I got two sisters, man. I got a twin sister and an older sister. My oldest sister is directly responsible for me wanting to go to college, period. I was talking to her today, and I told her, I tell this story all the time. She went to Drake University. Drake University is also where Lisa Bluter started. Lisa Bluter is the current coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. So, 6 degrees of separation, however you want to go with that. But when Drake has a huge track meet called the Drake Relays. It is that half of the country. It is just as big, if not bigger, than the Penn Relays. Same type of thing. And my dad took me and my twin sister, rented an RV. He let me invite one of my buddies. My sister invited one of her girlfriends. And we took that 13-something hour trip in an RV to Drake, to Des Moines, Iowa, to watch the Drake Relays. And that was the best time I've ever had in my life. My dad didn't even have to, there was no pressure about going to college after we took that trip. Because I was like, this is what I want to do. It was so much fun and met so many people, and just the experience was so positive for me and my sister. It was like my dad didn't have to push us about going to college. Like, we knew, like, this is what's happening. So I got love for anybody coming out of Iowa. Big time props. But the Caitlin Clark thing, she's the golden goose. And yes, they should overhype her and everything that comes with that. And it is, I've said this before, it's not going to be fair. And it's not supposed to be fair. Because you got to go to where the money is. All of the endorsement deals and all of that kind of stuff, they are going to follow the money. And right now, Caitlin Clark is putting butts in seats. The attendance is going to be up. The ticket sales are going to be up. The merch sales are going to be up. Everybody's making money. And she ain't even played a real game yet. So you got to look at, like, I give big props to Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, because every time I see her on a show on Bloomberg or somebody's talk show talking about it, she gives everybody their props. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, she names all the names and stuff like that, but she gets down to business. She knows there's a plan in place. She knows they got to look for the future. She knows the collective bargaining agreement is coming up. They do it the same way that they do it in the NFL. So they're going to have some trip ups and some issues this year, just like the whole situation with the Chicago Sky not being televised. And that was a hiccup. That's going to happen because I'm not going into the situation thinking they are ready or as experienced as what's going on in the NFL, the NBA, the MLB. You can't do that. It's a whole different. It's not even the same way as what they do with, like, women's soccer. There's some things that they have to get in place, and they're going to take some lumps, plain and simple. But they got the two biggest things. They are already, I predict that they're going to break records in every category this year. Attendance, ticket sales, merch sales, all of that stuff is going to be off the charts this year. And that's going to set up for what's going to happen going forward. The big thing, obviously, is are they going to get paid more? This is what sets it up. The collective bargaining agreement. The CBA, the NFL goes through it every year with the NFLPA. We can do this, we can do that. This is what happens when they're the CBA is what they put in place. That's why the rookie minimum in the NFL is $750,000. That's why you have franchise tags. All of that stuff was collectively bargained. In the big scheme of things, it's a push and pull between the players and the owners, and both sides are trying to figure out a way to squeeze as much money as they can out of all of the money that is made. And that's what the WNBA is doing now, except they're just at the beginning of it. They're just at the beginning of it. And I'm saying that from couple of years, they've made the yes, Chris, they've made money and they've had stats to say this is the most money they've made in the last 20 years or something like that. But in the big scheme of things, it still wasn't a lot of money when you compare it to other minor leagues or MSL soccer or whatever the situation is. The reality was they really weren't making money. You could tell by if you did watch games, it wasn't too many people at them games. And at the end of the day, if nobody's coming to the games, they're not making money. So this is an opportunity where they can possibly stop getting, subsidized by the NBA, or, they can pretty much put their own foot forward and not have to rely on anybody else. Because I would imagine that's the end goal. Number one, you gotta pay the players. Number two, you got to put a product on the court where corporate sponsors will want to jump on board. And now, I don't know if you watch the WNBA, who did you see? You saw the State Farm dude in this red shirt right in the middle of everybody's State Farm logo. They got the corporate sponsors now. Now, I would be very surprised if you don't have one of these airlines, step up to the plate and say, okay, yeah, we'll charter your flight and work some type of deal. Now you got a major airline or something like that. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. The one mistake I think they're making right now, it's not really a mistake. I just think that they're missing an opportunity because they're putting the lion's share of the attention on Caitlin Clark, and rightfully so. But I think they're missing the other girls that have those huge followings on social media. Caitlin Clark. Now, mind you, WNBA, if you go to their Instagram page, they only have, 2 million followers? Caitlin Clark got 2 million by herself. Angel Reese got 3 million. And let me tell you something. As somebody that's in the social media space now, on YouTube making content, and I'm tracking my subscriber base and all of that kind of stuff, and I'm clawing and scratching, I just hit 2,500 subscribers. That's a big deal for me. So when you see somebody with 2 million followers and then somebody else got 1 million more, it's taking me 3 months to get 500. And now you got somebody that's got 2 million and 1 million more. Like, you can't ignore that. And they need to tap into that. The WNBA and their media team needs to be tapping into Caitlin Clark's social media, Angel Reese social media. I believe Angel Reese is the biggest social media influencer in the WNBA right now. I know Kelsey Plum has got like 800,000. Skylar Diggins has got over 1 million. Caitlin Clark's got 2 million. And I'm sure there's some others in there somewhere that I just don't know about right now. But my point is that the people that follow and spending money. Now, all 3 million of Angel Reese's followers ain't buying merch. However, what you do is you do the math. What's the marketing term where if you pitch something to 100 people and you only had 5 people that buy, what's that number? What's that 5%? It's not return on investment, I know, but in any case, you understand what I'm saying. And if you got 3 million followers and 1% spend money on the merch. That's a win for the WNBA because that's 30,000 people that didn't do anything the year before. So the only way the WNBA could fumble this is if they don't act. Because they're gonna just by proxy, they already winning because, like I said, ticket sales is up, merch sales is up. The what's the Las Vegas Aces sold out of the season tickets. That's the big thing. They got a franchise that sold out of their season ticket sales. That's huge. That means that's a guarantee that they will have butts in seats every game. That's huge, and that's what they need. And obviously, Indiana, I'm not sure what the situation in Chicago is. And now you look at Angel Reese. Now she getting stuff from Serena Williams. You hearing about her and Caleb Williams. I mean, so now you got the celebrity aspect of it. What was the dude? Jason Sudeikis was at all the Iowa games. George Kittle's at all the Iowa games. So now all of them are bringing in a celebrity element that didn't exist before. The closest thing you got to this was back in the day, Dawn Staley's when Dawn Staley was on that Olympic team that won the gold. Her, Cheryl Swoops, I think it was Lisa Leslie, Rebecca Lobo. I forget all who it was, but I remember social media didn't exist back then. But they were all on the sitcoms. They were all on Martin, and they were on Living Single, and they did the thing with the sitcoms. And at that time, that was huge. That was the way to get the attention out there, and it worked. The best WNBA player ever, in my opinion, was Candace Parker. She just retired. Congratulations. But even Candace Parker, and she was every bit. Candace Parker had handles like Juju Watkins, except she was 6'4". She was explosive like Kelsey Plum, except she was 6'4". And she could dunk. That was the other aspect of it to it. That was the thing that brought a little bit more cachet to it. So they've had people like that, but for whatever reason, and I've got my own thoughts about it, but last year, when this is my opinion, last year when Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark met in the finals, and that whole Angel Reese did that thing with the ring and all of that kind of stuff, giving that energy back to Caitlin Clark, that's what started it. In my opinion, Angel Reese was the villain. Most people wanted Caitlin Clark to beat her because they didn't like LSU. Nobody really liked Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey's got her own thing going on, and a lot of people really don't like her. So they didn't want to see LSU win. And to me, that's where it started, because I wasn't aware of Caitlin Clark. If you really follow women's basketball at that time, you knew who she was. But again, I'm the person that's moving the needle, not the fans that already go. They're already going. You got to get the new people. I'm the new people. And that's when I became aware. And I just kept following. And the more I watched, the more I liked. And credit to Caitlin Clark, because number one, here's where Caitlin Clark earned my respect. After that game where they lost and they asked her about the incident, she did not shy away. She owned up to talking smack. And I was like, there you go. That's all you want. She didn't shy away from it. Like, hey, we just talking smack on the court. That's what we do. And the thing was, when guys do that stuff all the time, and that was what became the argument, and it's like, why y'all jumping on Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese for what they did? Guys do that crap all the time, and don't nobody say nothing. Guys get in fights, and don't nobody say nothing. And it became that argument, but at the end of the day, it kept me watching. It kept me watching, and I'm still watching. And everybody else is jumping on board, and now you got all these people that, Caitlin Clark, and then they want to throw racism in it, and then they're using, you know, that as the backdrop for whatever story they want to tell on their social media platform. And some of the stuff is out there, some of the stuff is ignorant, some of the stuff is wrong, and most of the stuff Caitlin Clark ain't got nothing to do with. They just talking about her, but she's the draw right now. She's the draw, and it's funny. Just is, and what I meant by, like, if you look at my description, I was like, the WNBA went toe to toe with the NFL draft, and it won a few rounds. Because when I look at my feed, when I go into my analytics, and I say, hey, which one of my videos has done the best the last couple months? Caitlin Clark, WNBA, Caitlin Clark. Here's some stuff I did about the NFL. Some stuff that was going, the Saquon Barkley stuff peaked up, but most of it is like Caitlin Clark is at the head of it. The one video I did, and it's not even really NFL, it was more ESPN stuff, was that video I did on Ryan Clark that blew up. Got like almost 70,000 views and all of that kind of stuff. You never know where it's going to come from, but the consistency tells me that Caitlin Clark is the story right now that is moving the needle, and rightfully so. And the one thing I like about Caitlin Clark, she don't really say too much. She answered the questions on her pressers after the games, stuff like that, but she don't lean into the nonsense. She didn't lean into, she didn't make the big deal when Antonio Brown said what he said, that idiot. Like, she ain't going, she could have made the big stink and she could have went there, but she didn't. There was enough people that was paying attention that did that for her. She ain't really have to address that, and I'm glad she didn't. But when you got somebody through no effort of their own is reaching out and grabbing the attention in other places, she ain't trying to do it. All she doing is the same thing she been doing. She get on that court, she shoot them 3 balls, and that's it. The best thing that happened to her was the first shot she took was 4 feet outside of the 3-point line, and she drained it. And she was 3 for 3 her first 3 shots, and all of them was from deep. And the crowd went nuts. And I was like, that's what people came to see. And I thought it was very ironic. I thought it was hilarious. I laughed out loud when I saw this. And Cheryl Swoops was the one that interviewed her after the game. Now, I all know of the Cheryl Swoops controversy with the stuff that she said. And she apologized, but, more people saw what she said than her apology. That's just the way to go. You said what you said, and you meant what you said when you said it. And she could have very easily not said that. All that would have taken was 30 seconds of her taking a pause and looking on her phone. But, everybody gets so butthurt, like, oh, she ain't better than me. She ain't proved nothing. And that's the attitude. And I understand that. I truly understand that, because coming into the Eagles as an undrafted free agent, you got to understand whether you drafted or undrafted. When you go into somebody's camp, you looking to take somebody's job. Just imagine wherever you're working now is somebody that can come in and that person is taking your job. On top of that, this is a good job. This is a 7-figure job. You don't want to lose this job. Sometimes it ain't up to you. And who had the best performance of all of the preseason games? Caitlin Clark. What did Cheryl Swoops say? Ain't no way she gonna come into the league and get that many shots off. How many shots did she end up with? 16, I think. 15 or 16. She ended up with, 22 points, I think it was? And so far, based on everything that I've seen, and I haven't looked at all of the games I don't think all of the teams have played, but for the most part, she has had the best debut of anybody, veterans and everybody. I don't think anybody's outscored her. I don't think anybody did. In the Seattle game, Cameron Brinks looked pretty good. What's the other girl? The other girl had she ain't score a lot, but she played pretty well. I'm forgetting her name. JC Sheldon, I think it was, from Ohio State. She played pretty well too. Chris, who you talking about? What did who say? There must be something I said about what did who say? Be specific. So, but yeah, man. I mean, it's the attention they're getting is off the chain, and they deserve it. Like I said, I grew up with two sisters playing sports. My twin sister was voted the best female athlete in our graduating class, and then of course my big sister was in high school when we lived in St. Louis, and she won the state title in the hurdles, 100-meter hurdles. So, I got love for the women that put the work in and want to ball out, and they balling out. And now I want to see, Caitlin Clark go up against Asia Johnson in Las Vegas and Kelsey Plum, because I don't know if you've seen Kelsey Plum play, but she will shake you because she's super quick. So all of these people, Diana Taurasi and like me personally, I want to see her drop 30 on Taurasi, because Taurasi's been the main one that's been throwing the shade. And you understand how this business is. You already know the rookies are going to come in and they're going to take their lumps. That's just the way that it goes, regardless of what league you in. Don't matter if you basketball, football, baseball, hockey, soccer. Doesn't matter. If you new into this, you got to take your lumps. And that's what she's going to do. But to sit there and say that, well, we got to wait. She ain't going to do that against no grown women. It's like they said the same thing about you when you came in the league. And you did what you did. So, for her to get 15 shots off and, have 9 points in the first period because her first 3 threes drained, now what's the excuse? And eventually she's going to come to a point where she's going to have a dud of a game. Everybody does that. Everybody does that. Yeah, Chris, rookies are hungry, man. Rookies are hungry, and they don't want to give up their spot. The one thing that people, I guess, is just now coming into their lexicon, like, these girls, I just saw it today. Somebody got cut. They got to go through cuts. It's somebody that's trying to make an WNBA team that's going to get cut. And in some situations, it might not be fair. Welcome to the big leagues. That's the way it go. That's the way it go. So, just to switch it up a little bit, the same thing happens like I always laugh at this, and it happens every year. Every friggin' year it happens. Especially now with social media and stuff like that. We had rookie camp the other day, and across the league, everybody says the same thing. Oh, look at such and such. He putting in work. Oh, look at him in the weight room. He's throwing up all that weight, putting in work. They had Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts lifting, and Jalen Carter was in there. They was all squatting, and they all putting in work. Like, everybody putting in work. Every rookie is in every team's weight room right now making videos. Oh, look at our quarterback getting in work. Man, y'all warming up. He threw a warm-up pass. He didn't do nothing. He ain't throw the ball 60 yards in the fourth quarter. He just warming up. But it's I always laugh at it because people make it look like it's more than it is. It's just like, listen, they warming up. All these rookies out here, they don't know the playbook yet. They just trying to get used to what it's going to be like when they're in camp with the Eagles. So just kind of just chill out. But it's funny because people go way overboard. Way overboard. Although I will admit, Saquon Barkley, I like that name. Saquad. Because the Joker do got some big quads, man. I think Jalen was squatting like 525. Saquon was squatting like 550 something. And I was like, man, that is a whole lot of weight. Good grief. Our brotherly shove is going to be deadly with them two jokers in there. But, everybody goes overboard with it, and it's always funny. And I saw it in Dallas, and, Micah Parsons is putting out videos where he's working out with a sumo wrestler. And it's like, yeah, we done seen that before. And I've seen offensive linemen work out with martial arts experts. And Kenny Rose was one of my teammates. He was real big into martial arts at the time and was teaching people. Um, a friend of mine, Scott Teller, his dad owned a martial arts school. So a lot of the Eagles was going up to him studying martial arts. Willie T was up there. So it's not anything new. But everybody acts like, yeah, look at our boys, is they getting it in and putting in work. And it's like, listen, man, all they doing is warming up. All they doing is brushing the rust off. Pump your brakes a little bit. So that's always funny to me. Yeah, people overhype drinking waters. Oh, did you see that water bottle, man? He got the new Gatorade Force personalized water bottle, man. It's got the capsules already built in. All you just do add water and shake it up. Yeah, man, that's low. You're doing too much. It's just taking a break. But I always think that stuff is funny, man. It's always funny. And it makes me remember how I felt as a rookie going out on the field and warming up and tossing with Randall Cunningham and talking with Herschel Walker and like stuff like that. And as a rookie, everything you do is magnified and amplified. Every catch you make, you think was the greatest catch ever. And the coaches noticed you. They noticed you. And every drop or fumble, you think you're going to get cut because of it. So it is a very up and down mental gymnastics that you got to deal with when you are an undrafted rookie in camp. So and now you don't really. It's very difficult. It's a lot harder now to make the team as an undrafted rookie in camp because they don't have camp no more. They don't do a lot of hitting. There's less time to show what you can do. It all comes down to what you're going to do in a preseason game. And, even if you do have a good game, the first thing people will say to you is, well, you did that against no competition, so it don't mean nothing. Same thing that Tarasi was saying about Caitlin Clark. Again, doesn't matter what sport you're in. It happens across the board. So I'm excited for all of it. I'm excited for the WNBA. I'm excited for camp to start because now we are on the clock for camp. And Howie Roseman is not done. It's going to be some more deals made. There's some more free agents signed. We're going to have some more bodies in here. And we're going to have a couple people that's going to surprise, raise some eyebrows. I'm looking at Shipley. I'm looking at that kid Wilson, that's 6'7". I can't wait to see what that kid can do. I keep saying the same thing. Throw the ball up to him high and let him go up and dunk with two hands. That's all he's got to do. As long as I see that, I'm good. I am good because that's all we need. That's all we need, man. So it is going to be a great summer because now because I'm invested in WNBA, that'll be taking my time. Track season is about to start. I saw Sha'Carri Richardson and the mile relay team. Now that's not the final team, but it's just the juices are getting flowing, and now you're gonna start seeing the rivalry between the Americans and the Jamaicans, and all of that stuff's gonna come back. So, and Sha'Carri Richardson is another one. When track season starts, last year when I did content about Sha'Carri Richardson, went through the roof, and I don't expect it to be any different because now she looks like she's focused. She's not as mouthy as she used to be. And it seems like that's the best thing for her because when she started not talking, that's when she started just blowing everybody out the water. And I'm like, that's what you want. That's what you want. So when Team Zero blitz Jalen, no reason Wilson can't be open. 100%. I'm with you on that one, dude. He's an automatic hot route waiting to happen. Absolutely. But I think not Shipley, but Anaya Smith. Man, listen. Watch that highlight tape on Anaya Smith. When he catches the ball, he runs angry. His yards after catch I got to go look what those stats were, had to be phenomenal when he was in college. He gets the ball in his hands and he is angry. And that's what you need. He's the perfect, he's good size. He's like 5'11", so he's not short. He's got good speed. And then to back him up, you got Mr. Super Tall Wilson. You know, and hopefully we can use it because we had, I think Nagata is like 6'3", 6'4". So we had a couple guys in here that were tall, but we didn't do anything with it. And heck, I was surprised and happy that they did what they did last year with Julio Jones. I wish they would have did more with Julio. Like, you can't teach that size. You can't. If you a 6'2" receiver, you good. But when you 6'4", you look at what Randy Moss used to do. Randy Moss was what, 6'3"? So when you got somebody that's got speed and got hops, and got any semblance of catching ability, man, he can be dangerous. You just got to use him the right way. That's it. That's it, man. So, all right. I'm gonna get up out of here. Listen, Wednesday night, 9:30. I'm gonna have my nephew on. My nephew Randy Bell. Randy Bell is playing basketball in Australia in the NBL. So he is the leading scorer in the NBL, I think, right now. And I want to get him on. And so it's a 12-hour difference. So when it's 9:30 at night, it's 9:30 in the morning his time. So he's going to come on with me on Wednesday night at 9:30. Now, for the rest of the week, I'm not going to do any more live at lunches. I got some stuff going on at the house, and I'm not going to be available, but I'm still going to be doing, Wednesday night at 9:30, and I'm still going to do Thursday. My Thursday show is going to be at 9 p.m. I'm moving it back. Sorry, Jason. I'm moving it back. So Thursday night is going to be at 9 p.m. There'll be more stuff coming out on my social medias and stuff like that to remind you, but I'm changing up the schedule a little bit. But for the most part, just everything is pretty much the same, minus the live at lunch. I'm not doing live at lunch on Wednesday or Friday. Now, next week, I might bring it back, but this week, I got too much stuff going on, so I'm not going to be able to do it. So, but I will be putting out content tomorrow. I'll be producing the videos. And Wednesday night, 9:30 from Australia, down under. Should be fun, man. So I appreciate you guys joining me. We had a pretty good group today, man. We had 10 to 12 people on YouTube, and we had 30 people in the Twitterverse, man. So that's what's up. If you on Twitter and you listening, do me a favor before you get up out of here. Why don't you mosey over to YouTube and hit me with that subscribe? I'd appreciate it. But you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. Go ahead and finish your food, wash your hands, and get back to work, man. I will see you on Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Be there. Go Birds.